what's happening, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Messages in the Madness with yours truly, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Hope all is well. Hope all is right. I hope all is great in your life. I just thank y'all for being here with me tonight because I missed y'all last week. I did miss y'all. Hey, Miss Coley, good to see you. Hey, Mr. Ned, how you doing? Yeah, but I'm back. Like I said, I missed you guys last week. Made some more changes, so tell me, give me some thumbs up, show me some love. Let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear. If you guys can hear me, okay, please let me know. Click something. Matter of fact, you could put a message in the chat if you can hear me. All right, that would be awesome. I did take the time to send Miss Coley the message this evening of what the message was for the night, so that therefore she could have that available. So she likes to share the message, and I greatly appreciate that. All right, I got a double thumbs up for Miss Coley, and I appreciate that. So I guess I will tell you guys let me tell you this part. If you've ever missed an episode of Messages in the Madness, you can now find me or find it on YouTube because I went and added that to. I thought, well, I have been I've been broadcasting to YouTube, but I had two different YouTube channels. Long story short, so I'm gonna put a link in the page so that if anybody wants to go back and check out some of the previous episodes, then you could do such. So check it out. I'm gonna put that into the chat so that therefore, if you ever, hey, if you ever just want to go back just to listen, or you missed this, melodic voice of mine, check it out. Brother James, good to see you. Always great to see you. And for anybody else that's out there lurking in the background, yeah, if anybody else out there is lurking in the background, I just want to say thank you again for joining us. So the reason why we missed, hey, baby K, good to see you. The reason why I missed you guys last week is because I was flying. I was on my way to Minot, North Dakota, and I know I haven't been talking a lot about the things that I was doing previously, but I went to Minot, North Dakota on purpose, and it was funny because I met people in the airport. They say, "Hey, where you headed?" I said, "I'm going to Minot." They're like, "Well, why not Minot?" I'm like, "You're right. Why not Minot?" Well, I found out why not. But I'd be happy to go back again. Last week, Longhorn spoke at a mental health convention for veterans, and it was great. It was awesome. I was honored. I was the keynote speaker for the event, so that was quite an honor there. And I told the story about, if you guys have read my book, there's a story in there called "You're Not Alone." And it's a story about what happened to me, and I told it live. I do have it on video, but every time I tell the story, I haven't posted the video because every time I tell the story, I get emotional. I mean, and it's ugly. When I get Yes, I actually cry when I tell the story because I'm telling it. There's no notes. There's not like, like I have notes for my show. But when I tell that story, there's no notes. It's just me straight out, just telling the story about how I was at my wits' end and I was ready to unalive myself. I guess that's what I got to say these days on these airways. And I shared that story with them. So, needless to say, whenever I tell that story, it takes me a week, maybe 2 weeks to get my head back together, to get back out of that space that I was in. Uh, I'm not saying I'm there now. Don't no 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 don't get it twisted. But I'm talking about the emotional part of it because, like I say again, I tell it from the heart. So as I go through, I'm gonna say hey to some folks, and we're gonna get into the message. Hey, Miss Charlotte, good to see you. Brother Roger, good to see you. Always great to see you. Baby sis, good to see you. Happy Sunday. Thank you. Happy belated birthday, because I don't think I was on the air for your birthday because I was flying, but happy birthday, happy belated birthday, baby sis. So oh, self-delete works as well. Okay, well, self-delete, unalive, you guys understand what I mean. So tonight's message, we're going to dig into something deeply personal and powerful. Like I said, I gave a talk from and it's from my book and life titled "You're Not Alone." It's a story that's close to my heart because it touches one of the hardest moments of my life. It was a very hard moment. Yes, I've never been that low before. Well, You live and you learn. I have been a little deeper. I have been, well, anyway, it was a tough moment in my life, a moment where I thought I had no more to give, no more to live for. But someone stepped in unknowingly and helped me find my way back. And to this day, that person does not know it. They did something small, something that might have seemed insignificant to them at the time, but it saved my life. That's why tonight's talk is called It's the Little Things That Make a Big Difference. So I'm going to tell you now, guys, if I get emotional, I'm just going to apologize up front, okay? Just going to get it out there. So let me set the stage for you. This story takes me back to a period after I'd left the military. Like many veterans, I came home with more than just physical baggage. I carried emotional scars, memories. I didn't know I didn't know how to process these things, and a deep sense of isolation. And then to add to that, I was coming back into civilian life, and it was a shock. Because see, I was coming out of that isolation. I mean, I was coming out of that structure, that purpose, knowing what I was doing every day. Hey, Miss Marion, I knew what I was doing every day. I had a squad, I had a platoon, I had a battalion, I had people that were there for me. That if I had a problem, I could just go to them with whatever problem I was having. I didn't have that anymore. I came back to the civilian world. And then I had a number of things happen to me, like a car accident. Guy hit me and left me on the side of the road for dead. But I'm not going to give too much of that away. I want you to buy my book and hopefully read the story for yourself, or buy the audio book and hear the version of it, the live, the full version of it from my voice. But I was coming out of that structure, out of that purpose, and into civilian life. It was like stepping into a different world, one where you're just expected to figure it out. But I was lost. I was lost, and I didn't have the words to explain how I was feeling. I tried to soldier through as I've been taught to do. Shoulders back, head up, and march through it. Mud and blood. That's what I was trained to do. But there are things that discipline and grit can't fix. And I found myself sinking into a place that I did not know how to get out of. The weight of the world felt too heavy for me. It was very heavy. And I didn't know how to move forward. I was stuck. I had convinced myself that the people in my life would be better off without me. I thought the pain I was feeling was mine to carry by myself, to carry alone, like a backpack, like a rucksack. It was mine. And I did not know how to explain this to anybody else without looking weak or not looking like less than a man. I was married. I had 2 children. I'm supposed to be the head of the family, but I couldn't take care of my family because I couldn't find a job or one that paid enough to help take care of my family. So I had made up my mind that I was going to not be here anymore. I was going to, yeah, I was gone. But life has a funny way of stepping in just when you think all is lost. As they say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. He'd be like, yeah, okay, hold on. Hold my beer. James said 40 years and still trying to figure it out. But yeah, life has a funny way of stepping in just when you think all is lost. What's up, Smuggy? Good to see you, nephew. Hey, Veronica, good to see you. Around that time, my wife and I got a call from a mutual friend. She and her family needed somewhere to go. Her husband was recently separated from the military as well, so he was a vet. We didn't know each other. We didn't have that shared history. We had we had mutual experiences, but we didn't have any experiences together. I didn't know the man. I didn't know him. But all I knew is that this man and this woman need 3 kids. They needed somewhere to go. They were in a really tough spot. They had nowhere to go, and they needed a place to stay while they tried to get back on their feet. Now, I won't lie to you. We didn't have much. Money was tight, and my wife was receiving help from an outside source that I was not appreciative very appreciative of. But this family had nothing. And even in the middle of my own personal struggles, my wife and I decided we would open our homes to them because, well, that's what you do. That's what you do when someone else is in need. You help them however you can. So we invited them to live with us for a while to give them the space and time they needed to get back on their feet. And they had 3 small children. That was the clincher. We had 2 kids, they had 3. At that moment, I wasn't thinking about myself or the struggles I was going through. I was focused on them. Sometimes focusing on somebody else is a blessing. Sometimes we need those distractions in our lives. Sometimes that is a blessing in disguise. When you're drowning in your own pain, as I was drowning in my I'm a grown man with a wife and 2 kids that I could not take care of. I couldn't My wife was working and I couldn't find a job. I couldn't sustain life for us. I could not provide a living for us. And that's a hard thing for a man. It wasn't how I was raised. So it was really tough for me. And I was drowning in my own pain. Being able to focus on helping someone else can be a temporary lifeline, a distraction from the darkness that's creeping in. And I could see it getting darker and darker every day. Hey, Annette, good to see you. That darkness, that depression, that anxiety, that worthlessness. It was just closing in on me. What I didn't realize with that was that this man, this fellow veteran, would end up being the very thing that pulled me out of that darkness. He didn't know it. He didn't know what was going on with me. We had just met. I mean, I wouldn't, hey brother, how you doing? Yeah, man. This weekend I'm out of here. Oh, you leaving? No, I'm out of here. No, that's not the conversation we're gonna have. He didn't know. He didn't know that he would be the person that would pull me out of the darkness. He still don't know because he doesn't follow me on social media. He didn't know it. To him, we were just 2 veterans sharing a space. We were a family that let them come to get themselves on their feet. He and I, we talked, we swapped stories about service and raising kids and marriage and so on and so forth. You know, how we're trying to make life work, and he kept telling me how great I was and how smart I was and how lucky I was with my kids and how cool it was I could build computers and all these other things that, yeah, okay, I was pretty decent at it, but I couldn't find a job. But one night, as we sat in the house talking, something shifted. Something changed. We were sitting around talking about nothing in particular. Just the usual conversation veterans have about life, service conversations veterans have. We talked about how things don't always go as planned. He had no clue. But during that conversation, something happened. It wasn't dramatic or intense. It was it wasn't some big intervention or therapy session. It was just two guys talking. But there was something in the way he shared his story, something in the way he talked about his own struggles that hit me in a way I wasn't expecting. He didn't know it. He didn't know me for real, but his words were getting through to me. In that conversation, he reminded me that I wasn't alone. He reminded me that somebody else understood because he was in the same boat that I was. He didn't have a job. He didn't have any way of taking care of his family. He didn't have any way of putting a roof over their head. He was worse off than I was. So he understood. Even if they didn't know exactly what was going on in my head, he understood. He unknowingly gave me a lifeline. It's hard to explain that moment. It's hard to explain that moment. It is. But I felt something shift in me. Suddenly, the plan that I had made to end my life didn't seem so certain anymore. I wasn't fixed in that moment. No, I wasn't just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm all right. No, it wasn't like that. I wasn't fixed. I still had a lot of healing to do, but it was a start. It was somewhere for me to start. Just like this picture behind me, it was a new beginning. It was a star for me. It was a guiding star for me. Y'all put something in the comments. Let me know you're listening to me. Or am I just babbling to myself? I still had a lot of healing to do. It was that thing that kept me from making the decision I couldn't undo. Yeah. And that's the point I want to make tonight. That's the point I want to make tonight. It wasn't a big thing that saved me. It was a little thing. It was a conversation. It was someone being there talking to me, not even knowing the weight of what was on my shoulders. And I had the world on my shoulders. In my brain, I saw me face down in the mud, laying on one side, mud in this eye, and this nostril full of mud as well. And I can't open my mouth and then more mud would come in. I was I was sucking in air through one nostril and I had a boot on my neck. That's where I was at. That's where I was at. But it was a start. At that point, that's the point. That was the point. It wasn't huge. It was something small. It was a conversation. It was someone being there talking to me, not even knowing the weight of what was going on with me, what I was carrying, where I was at, what I was feeling. He didn't have all the answers, and he wasn't trying to save me. He was just sharing his story, being opened, being present. And that made all the difference. Captain Jones, good to see you, sir. That's made all the difference. Being present, him sharing with me sharing with him, made all the difference. We all have the power to be that person for someone else. It doesn't take a grand gesture or some massive effort. Sometimes it's as simple as reaching out, checking in, or just being there to listen. You never know what kind of impact you can have on someone who might be going through the hardest moments of their life. Just a phone call going, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, I know we ain't talked in a minute. What you doing? What's going on? How you feeling?" No, sis, we don't keep in touch. Not since the last time he hit me up and asked me for $50. I sent it to him, ain't heard from him since. I know because I've been on the receiving end of that. If it weren't for that veteran, if it weren't for that little conversation, things could be very different today. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to all of you, sharing this story. And that's what I want you to take away from this tonight. We all are connected in one way, in some way, form, or fashion. We are all connected, whether we realize it or not. We are all in a position to make a difference in someone's life. I don't care if you're a busy exec at the top level or like me and my company, I'm low man on the totem pole. I've got more time in grade and more time on the job, but technically I'm low man on the totem pole. But we can make a difference. It's the little things that matter. Those small moments of kindness, those small moments of being present for someone. They might seem insignificant at this time, but trust me, they can save a life. Annette, I see your message there. You say, if you were not here with this group, I would be in lockup tonight. Well, I pray that that's not true. And I pray that you never give anybody that much power over you to allow you to do something that you can't undo. I hope that you're okay on that. I really do. So, if you're wondering whether you should reach out to someone, whether you should say something, even if it seems small, do it. You never know how much someone might need that connection in that moment. So last night I was doing a comedy show, and I shared, what's going on with me. I've turned it into a bit, a whole 5-minute bit about what's going on with me and my health. And I had this gentleman come up to me at the end of the night and he goes, "Hey man, thank you for talking about that. My father is going through it right now. And today was the first day of it. And we didn't know how to we didn't know how to feel about this, how to navigate this. But you made it easier for us just from things you said on the stage." I've had other people come to me since, I've been talking about this on stage and said, "Man, you've given me the courage to move forward. You've helped me to do what I have been putting off for so long." And all I'm doing is telling jokes. But those of y'all that have seen me perform know that I tell you a joke, but there's a message in the madness. There's always a message in the madness. So y'all may think what you say is insignificant, that it's small, that it doesn't mean anything, that it's not going to help anybody, that you're in no position to help someone else because you're struggling yourself, that's not true. It's like giving somebody $1 that's panhandling. I'll give you $1 and I'm going to keep it moving. Why? It's not my job to wonder where that blessing is going. It's just my job to bless you. The other day, I was getting a manicure. Young brother said, "Hey, man," he said, "Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to get some change so I can get on the bus. Give me something to eat and get on the bus." And I said, "I'll give you some change when I come out." He waited patiently. He came out. I gave him a $10 bill. He said, "Man, thank you. Now I can get me something to eat and catch the bus to work on Monday." Maybe if he didn't get that $10, he may have lost his job and been hungry, which could have spiraled him into something else, something worse. It's the little things, y'all. DC Fluffy says, "I've called this particular person 3 times to check on them and left 3 voice messages. They haven't bothered to return any of my calls. Text back to say sorry they missed a call, check on me, etc. I'm not making any more efforts with that situation. You can try to be there for folks, but it must be received." Now, that is true. That is very true. Just make sure you can get some proof of life on them. That's why I love Facebook, because I can check people's pages for proof of life. Now, if I see you ain't posted, if I know you post every day and I don't see you done posted for like 3-4 days, it's like, hey, you okay? Where you at? What you doing? So I get it. I get it. I get it, baby sis. I'm not saying you got to run after people. I'm just saying that we all can make a difference in someone's life just by showing up, just by being there, just by caring, just by listening. You ain't got to give them your last dime. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just saying that we all have the opportunity to make a difference. Somebody else could be that soldier. You could be that soldier in somebody else's life. Baby sis says, "Oh, they're fine. I got a text 3 weeks ago saying they'll call me after work and they've been busy with life." Okay. Never got it. Okay. I know how that works too. Um, that's the message for tonight, y'all. Y'all got anything else for me in the chat tonight? I hope you enjoyed the message. And I hope that it really makes you think that, you ain't got to give somebody all of you. Annette says, "You all have given me the pride in myself." Thank you. You're welcome, Annette. But see, the truth is, it's always been there. You just had to decide to let it out. Take pride in yourself. Stand on your 2 feet, shoulders back, head up. 10 to the front, 3 to the rear. That's the way we do it here. March on, soldier, march on. Hey, Brad. He says, "Sorry I'm late, but here, gonna rewatch." I appreciate it. Please watch, please share. Like I say, I started a new YouTube page where previous episodes are there, so you can check those out as well. DC Fluffy says, "My job had a volunteer day a few weeks ago helping the homeless in Baltimore. It was nice and makes me want to volunteer more." Yeah. God bless you in that. I know you've been through a lot. Roger says, "Nice listening to you again, Vernon. You have helped me with messages every week. Well, I thank you for that. But you know what the true gift is share those messages forward with somebody else. Because you just never know who needs to hear a good word. You just never know who needs to know somebody gives a half a damn about them. Because we got people that nobody's showing them any kind of love, and that's bad. That it hurts. I know there's a billion people, 9 billion people on this planet. That's a lot of people. But you're right, James. We can make a difference by listening. Sometimes you ain't even got to say something. You just listen. So I guess God must love me tonight because the Dallas Cowboy game got delayed. And that is our show for tonight. I'm going to watch me some football and get ready for the week. As I always say, guys, I love you. God loves you. Take care of yourself, love yourself, respect yourself. Take care of them kids. Respect our vets. Yeah, whatever, Roger. Um, my son's a Steelers fan too. Respect our vets. This has been another episode. Baby sis says, deep and receiving message. Thank you for sharing. Wishing you and everyone a great and productive week. Love you. Love you too. I love you too, Coley. So, uh, as I always say, I'm Vernon Longhorn Davis, and this has been another episode of Messages in the Madness. God bless y'all. Until next week, $2.